You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Reports, episode 130.2, our girls basketball tournament preview special for all the girls varsity teams in Blackford, Delaware, Grant, Howard, Madison, Tipton, and northern Hamilton counties, with interviews with Alexandria head coach Mickey Hosier, Tipton head coach Lela Gillman,
morning, good afternoon,
Kokomo
or good
head
evening,
coach
whenever
Haley
you've
Peckinpaugh
chosen to
and Yorktown
listen
head coach
to
the Central
Mickey
Indiana
Hosier.
Sports Report. Good choice. Today is
You're
December
listening
27,
to the Central Indiana
2024.
Sports
It's
Report
Friday.
with your
What's another day
host,
for the Central
Greg
Indiana Sports Report?
Mengel.
I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, and I love Central Indiana basketball. Today, I am coming from you from headquarters in Jeffersonville. Producer Susie is sound asleep. Welcome to our girls basketball tournament preview. We will look at all of the local tournaments being played at Richmond, Carroll, Sheridan, Northeastern, Whiteland, Greenwood, Logansport, Waldron, and Oldenburg Academy. We are releasing our boys basketball tournament preview in just a few minutes, so that one should be out by the time you're awake as well. So please go check that one out. We've had so much boys and girls basketball content over the past few days. Please go back and listen to it. And we will have our boys and girls basketball scoreboards returning after 3 or 4 days off. That will be on Saturday. Coming up, we will have interviews with Alexandria head coach Mickey Hosier, Tipton head coach Lela Gillman, Haley Peckinpaugh of Kokomo, and Yorktown's Leigh Ann Barga. And we start at Richmond, where we have two different teams in that tournament at the Casey Polins Memorial Tournament. It is an 8-team, 3-game, 2-day tournament at Richmond High School's famed Tiernan Center. The tournament starts at 1 p.m. on Friday with 4-7 Richmond versus 9-3 Purdue Inglewood. Purdue Inglewood has just had their 5-game winning streak snapped by a really good Guerin Catholic team by 4 points. Again, the first game is at 1 p.m. Then Marion will take on Connorsville at 3 p.m. Marion's 5-7. Connorsville is 8-4 and has won 5 of its last 6. In the two final games of the first round, the final games of Friday, Class 3A number 12 Charlestown takes on Ben Davis. Charlestown is 6-4. Ben Davis is 5-7. That game is scheduled for 5 o'clock. And the final game is Class 2A number 3 Alexandria. They will put their 13-0 record on the line against 5-6 Jacksonville. That game is scheduled for 7. The second round and the final round will both be played on Saturday. Alexandria will play at 11:30 a.m. either way, win or lose, against the winner or loser of Charlestown and Ben Davis. The other games will be played at 10 a.m. The 7th place game and consolation games will be played at 2. The 5th place game and championship games will be played at 3:30. Earlier this week, I spoke with Alexandria head coach Mickey Hosier about his team's trip to Richmond.
We played Jacksonville first, which we don't really know a lot about them. I've watched a few films of them, but
They've had some
win or
great
lose,
teams in the past, that's for sure.
yes, yeah, win or lose, we know we're going to have a couple really good tests on Saturday, and just talking to my coaches and my team, just we want that, we're ready for that, and we're excited for what's ahead.
You been enjoying this run, or are you acting like most coaches who are just caught up in it?
Yeah, I think I think everybody, when I talk to my coaches that are friends or family, it's like whether you're having a great year or whether you're having some bumps in the road, everybody's kind of in the same place. It's a long season, and so you're still trying to figure out your team, you're trying to figure out where everybody fits and get everybody on the same page. And for us, we know that our biggest games are ahead of us, and so even though it feels good to be where we're at, we still want to get better and try to figure things out, just like any other coach.
Now we move to the Carroll Holiday Tournament, which is also an 8-team tournament. It starts with 2-10 Tipton against Indianapolis Northside Homeschool. Tipton is 2-10. Northside Homeschool is 7-8. That game is at 11 o'clock. In the second game, 9-2, Lewis Cass takes on 9-4 Carroll. Lewis Cass just had a 6-game winning streak snapped at Whitco. Carroll is 9-4. They started 8-1. They've lost 3 of their last 4. The 1 o'clock game is 4-8 Heritage Christian, a superpower of the past. They will take on Western Boone, which is 3-7 and has lost 3 in a row. And the final first round game, 2-9 Western takes on 4-5 University. Western is 2-9. They've lost 7 in a row since the 2-2 start. That game is scheduled for 3. The second round will also be played on Friday evening. The Tipton Northside winner and loser will play the Cass winner and loser at 6 o'clock either way. The other games will be played at 7:45. The final round is scheduled for Saturday. The 7th and 5th place games will be played at 10. The consolation game will be played at 11:45 with the championship at 2 p.m. at Carroll High School in Flora. On Monday, I spoke with Tipton head coach Lela Gillman about her team and the tournament.
We've got some good competition in it. I'm excited that it's only about 45 minutes away for us. So hopefully we can get some fans there. It's just another opportunity for us to grow and learn together over these 3 games.
I assume you know nothing about Northside Homeschool?
Yep, there is not much I know other than they travel a lot to play basketball.
Coach, very competitive field. Also, it looks like an opportunity to maybe get a win or two. So, tell me how you feel about the field that you're going to be going against.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of good competition. I just hope that we can make it competitive for ourselves. We're going to really focus on us since we're playing so many games in such little time. We're going to focus on on the defensive end, really buying in and working together to get stops, one stop at a time, and then hopefully our defense can translate into some good offense for us.
Sheridan hosts a 1-day tournament on Friday involving 6-7 Seeger, 6-6 Tri Central, and 11-1 Eastern Hancock. Sheridan is 10-1. They start at noon against 6-7 Seeger. Tri Central will take on Class 2A number 9 Eastern Hancock at noon. So it looks like the first round games are both played at noon. The final round, the consolation and the championship games are both played at noon. That should be an incredible championship game, which should be 10-1 Sheridan against 11-1 Eastern Hancock. The Northeastern Winter Classic is an 8-team tournament with 3 games in 2 days. It starts at 9 a.m. Friday with 10-2 Central Catholic against 10-2 Tri. Central Catholic has won 6 of its last 7 games and 3 straight. Tri has won 3 in a row and 5 of its last 6. That game will be followed by 2A number 12 Brownstown against Cathedral, another good one. Brownstown is 9-3. They started their season 9-0 and have lost 3 straight to conference games. Looks like they must have had an injury of some kind because their results suddenly changed quite a bit. Cathedral is 6-6. That game is at 10:30. The noon game, Class 2A number 2 Northeastern is 13-0. It's their longest winning streak this season or this century. They take on 7-4 Shelbyville, which has won 4 straight. A lot of good ones in this one. And in the final first round game, 9-3 Kokomo will take on 8-4 Wayne. That game is approximately 2 o'clock. Both those teams are having really good seasons, their best seasons in a few years. In fact, Wayne has already equaled last year's win total. The second round will be played at also on Friday. 2 games will be played at 5 o'clock. The Northeastern, Shelbyville, Kokomo, Wayne winners and losers will play at 5. The Central Catholic Tri, Brownstown, and Cathedral losers will play at 3:30, and the winner will play at 6:30. The final round is Saturday all day, starting at 2 o'clock with the 7th place game. The fifth place game is at 4. The consolation at 6, with the championship game at 8. And on Monday, I spoke with Kokomo head coach Haley Peckinpaugh about a very tough field at Northeastern.
Definitely a huge challenge. We just had that conversation at practice today. Every team there is good. There is not a bad team at this tournament.
That's correct.
And so, you got Cathedral, you got Tri, you got Fort Wayne, you got Northeastern, who's undefeated. You have Shelbyville, you just have so many good teams there. You can't even. The girls are excited. It's definitely the type of Christmas tournament you want to be at, just to get better and see where you're at. Heading into January and the new year. But at the end of the day, it'll definitely show us exactly what we need to work on, I think.
And the other thing is, it allows your team time together on and off the court that you wouldn't normally get in that short amount of time.
Yeah, I keep comparing it to like an AAU tournament, like you're getting 3 games in probably 28 to 30 hours, and you get to spend a lot of time with your teammates. We're staying the night, which will be fun. And at the end of the day, it's just all about building those relationships and trying to get that chemistry right, which is something we've been working on before we head into the sectional. And I definitely think this Christmas tournament's going to help us with that.
Now to the Whiteland Holiday Tournament, where 1-12 Anderson kicks off the tournament against host Whiteland. Anderson is 1-12. Whiteland is 4-9 and has lost 6 of its last 7. That game is at 10 a.m. The second game features 6-6 Tri-West against Class 4A number 9 Bloomington South. South is 12-1. They started 5-0 and have currently won 7 games in a row. Their only loss was in overtime to Evansville North on November 30th. That game is scheduled for noon. The final round, the consolation, will be played Friday night at 4, with the championship game at 6. To the Greenwood Holiday Tournament, a 4-team one-day tournament on Friday. 6-5 Yorktown takes on 7-5 Triton Central in the first game at 10 a.m. Then at noon, 6-5 East Central takes on 0-12 Greenwood. The 12-game losing streak is their longest in 20 years. The final round will be played Friday evening at 6, with the consolation game at 6 and the championship game at 8 o'clock. I spoke with Yorktown head coach Leigh Ann Barga about playing in the tournament at Greenwood.
Yeah, we always wanted to do a holiday tournament, so the situation came about that we could do that, so we went for it. And then Pendleton Heights, we kind of struggled trying to find a night that worked for both teams, so that's kind of how it got to be the 23rd. But yeah, they don't get a lot of time off, but the week after they will, because we don't play again, I think, until the 4th. So.
Good. They deserve a little break.
They
Coach,
do.
what do you hope to see from your team here in the final 10 regular season games of the season?
Well, I'd really like to see us play 4 quarters. And it seems like we put together a good half, or we start fast and then we second half, or I don't know what happens, and the opposite, that we start slow and we do well in the second half. We just need to play consistently and limit our turnovers.
The Logansport Invitational features 3-10 Argos, 1-12 Logansport, 3-8 Northwestern, and 3-9 Wheeler. It starts with Argos versus Logansport at 10 a.m. Friday. Argos started 2-2. They've lost 8 of their last 9. Logansport won their first game of the season against Tipton and has lost 12 in a row. The second game will follow 3-8 Northwestern against 3-9 Wheeler. Northwestern has lost 3 straight and 6 of their last 7. The final round will be played Friday evening, with the consolation game at 5 and the championship at 6:30. The Waldron Holiday Tournament is a 4-team one-day tournament on Friday. The first round at 10 a.m. 4-7 Franklin County will take on 5-7 Waldron. Franklin County's won 2 of their last 3. Waldron just ended a 4-game losing streak with an overtime win at Knightstown. Following that, 3-10 Hamilton Heights will take on 8-3 Union County. Hamilton Heights has won 3 of their last 4 since starting 0-9. Union County has won 5 of its last 6. The consolation game and championship game will both be played at 4 o'clock on Friday. And finally, the Oldenburg Academy Invitational. It is a 4-team tournament, 1 day on Saturday. I have no times for that one. But in the first round, 12-1 Wapahani, which has won 8 in a row, will take on 7-3 Cascade. And 9-3 Shortridge, which has won 3 in a row and 5 of 6, will take on Class A number 6 Oldenburg Academy, which is 10-1 and has won 9 in a row. So that should be 4 really good games at Oldenburg Academy. The final round is later Saturday. And a reminder, the Grant 4 tournament at Madison Grant is next Saturday. We will have a full preview for that one next week. Please stay tuned for our daily game picks with Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Welcome back, Michelle. How was your Christmas?
Hey, it was an okay Christmas. It was a quiet Christmas, but some illness in the family and maybe a touch of a bug for me. But I'm not going to complain because you know that's not what the holiday's about anyway. So
Well, I know you had a good Christmas season, so a little under the weather on Christmas. It's okay. You had plenty of good Christmas season.
yes, I did, and I guess the best thing is I got before everybody got under the weather. I got to see my niece. She and her husband and their 2 dogs drove in from Colorado the week before, about a week
Nice.
before Christmas, and so I got to visit with them before everybody got sick on Thursday, and then my nephew flew in from Germany on Saturday night, and so I met him and one of my other nephews, my 2 godsons, by the way.
Nice.
Treated them to dinner tonight at Texas Roadhouse. I ate mild. They got whatever, but it was kind of nice, and we kept our distance because I don't want them, you know,
Yeah.
to get sick. We hugs, but I turned my face away so I didn't breathe on them.
All right, Michelle. No games for 3 days, but they resume again on Friday. Just to remind everybody, I make a pick of a game, how much I think the team is going to win by. Michelle says whether she thinks it's going to be more or fewer points. And then if I pick one team and she picks the other, by the way, every pick is worth a point. If she picks one team and I pick the other, then it becomes worth 5 points. Michelle leads 10-6 in this one. We have not picked any different teams except for one, and we picked Greenfield Central to beat Delta, and Delta won. So that's the only girls game that we have chosen differently. We've had a lot of boys games since we started doing this, but not many girls games. And again, not too many tonight, but just a few.
Just a few.
And there will be, of course, games Friday later in the day. You and I will not be able to do those picks unless you want to text back and forth and just kind of reveal them later. We can do that, but we're not going to be able to have a podcast with those picks. Okay, here we go, Michelle. Friday at Richmond, Class 2A, number 3, Alexandria versus Jacksonville. Jacksonville is 5-6, very good program over the years. They've won 4 of their last 5, though. Pretty good team. Greg says Alexandria by 35.
Alexandria by 35. Okay. I think that could very easily be the case. I'm going to go under. I think Alex going to win. I'm going to go under, and one of the reasons is because I know most coaches give time off, and I sometimes there's just a little bit of what I call holiday lag, and
Yes, there is.
knowing that there's a lot of illness going around,
Yeah. Plus,
we
it's
don't
early in the
know.
day. You don't get a lot of those games.
Right. So
It's
I'm gonna go under. I mean, I believe it's going to be a rout. I just think it'll be a little under that.
okay. Also at Richmond, 5-7 Marion takes on 8-4 Connorsville. Greg says Connorsville by 16.
Connorsville by 16. I will go more. I think it might be just a little bit more than that.
By the way, everybody, I know that me going to third person for the pick is weird, but I just read what's in front of me, so that's what's going on there. Um, all right, Michelle says more than 16. 2-9 Western versus 4-5 University at Carroll. I picked University by 16 points.
I know that was a tough one. I think you did very well on this pick. Actually, the point spread.
But by the way, I want to
Because
say something about that real fast, Michelle.
okay,
Most of the time, when it's two of our teams playing each other, I do not use Sagarin ratings to help my picks because I believe after watching 50 years of high school basketball and especially being a score watcher, I was always the guy who was picking up the newspaper to look at all the scores across the state in the Tipton Tribune and the Elwood Call Leader, of course. And so I was always one of those people. So I always believe that I'm pretty good at deducing scores, but this week I had to use a lot of Sagarin and Max Preps to make some picks.
it could be more. I kind of wish I knew exactly how Western handled pressure, because University usually always has some good athletes that can pressure you. But I know Western's won too. I know the girls aren't as good as their boys program, but I will go under. I'll probably lose this one, but I'm going to go under. I think Western's just maybe a little bit better than that 2-8 record.
I think so too. In fact, in some of their losses, they've been very competitive with good teams, but University's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. 2-10 Tipton, also at Carroll, by the way. 2-10 Tipton at Northside Homeschool of Indianapolis. They are 7-8. Again, I have no idea, except for that some homeschool programs are very good, as you know. I'm going to pick Northside Homeschool by 10, and that's a complete guess, and mostly by judging it on Max Prep ratings.
It's ironic because the Tipton boys played Northside Homeschool in the Clinton Central Holiday Classic a year ago.
Nice.
Back when that was like 8 teams. So, and I think that point it was kind of close, but then Tipton went on, and I can't remember if it was like by
Yeah.
16 or 26, something like that.
Most homeschool programs are not very good, but some of them are very good.
Yes. And you said by 10?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to say I'm gonna say you're right on the winner, and I'm gonna say it's slightly more. I think it's gonna be 12, around 12 to 16. If Tipton did better at shooting, I would feel more comfortable, and I might even pick Tipton to win that game. I just still feel like they are not.
Right.
They don't do a good enough job of getting the ball in the basket.
But sometime it might happen and they'll surprise us, that's for sure.
Yes.
Okay, at Waldron, 3-10 Hamilton Heights is at 8-3 Union County. I say Union County by 9.
Union County by 9. This is the one I forgot to look at who Union County had played.
Well, I can tell you it's not a great schedule, but it's a pretty good schedule, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, I Tipton went over to Union County, and it was like an over time
Yeah,
game
Union
a few
County was
years
a
ago, and that was with their good team.
yeah
Huh?
Union County was a sectional champion 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was the team that Tipton beat. It was a pickup. I can't remember why somehow, but they picked him up, and um. So you said Union County by 9.
Yes.
Union County, and I'll go slightly higher.
By the way, Hamilton Heights started 0-9, has won 3 of their last 4. All right, Sheridan is 10-1 and hosts a tournament. They start the tournament on in the morning on Friday against 6-7 Seeger. Michelle, has a good player ever played at Seeger before? Of course, one of
Oh
the
yeah,
all-time greats was played at Seeger.
yes.
Stephanie White played.
Yes, the Indiana Fever coach, folks, and former
Yes,
Miss Basketball, former All American, and Player of the Year at Purdue.
but this year I say Sheridan by 28.
Uh, more.
Tri Central is 6-6. They take on 11-1 Eastern Hancock, which just suffered its first loss of the season to LaPel. That game is at Sheridan as well. The winner will take on Sheridan, and that could be a good one.
Yes,
And
it could
I
be.
say Eastern Hancock by 31.
Eastern Hancock by 31 over Tri Central.
Yes.
I'm going to say higher.
Yeah, that's an awfully good team and a just fantastic star player.
And then I'm going to say the nightcap is going to be great. It's going to be single digits. It could be a one possession game, but I like the hometown Blackhawks in that one.
I'm trying to decide whether I'm willing to put 5 points on the line and take Eastern Hancock.
Now this all changes, of course, if there would be a major upset. But
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. I think I would take Sheridan, especially at home.
yeah, and that's a big reason I'm taking him is because it's a home, and so when you have a tournament, your kids,
Plus,
you
Sheridan
know,
has good depth, and
yes,
that really comes in handy in a one in a 2-game 1-day tournament.
yes, it does, and like I said, being able to stay home and launder your uniforms, um, or even if you don't stay at the school, I mean, somebody, if they really want a good meal, they can run to a
Right.
player's house and have a really good, team dinner.
Yeah.
And when I say good, I don't team dinner. It doesn't mean they're loading down to where they're not going to be able to play that
No, of
night.
course. Yes. Yeah.
It means the right kind of food.
Yes. Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be fast food or something like that. So,
No.
okay. 6-5 Yorktown takes on 7-5 Triton Central in what should be a really good one at Greenwood. And I say Yorktown by 3.
And I'm gonna flip that, and I'm gonna pick Triton Central.
All right. We got 5 points on the line. Yorktown, go Tigers at Greenwood. 9-3.
Triton Central's got a good program, or used to have a really good
Yes.
program.
Yes, they do. Yorktown is a program on the rise, I think. So, should be a good one. Kokomo is 9-3. They take on 8-4 Fort Wayne at the Northeastern tournament. 2 programs having their best year in a long time. I say Kokomo by 6.
Oh, I'm gonna go slightly higher. Kokomo by 8 to 10.
1-12 Anderson takes on 4-9 Whiteland at the Whiteland Holiday Invitational. 2 really good teams on the other side. I say Whiteland by 14.
Whiteland, yeah, I'll go a little higher.
And our final girls basketball game tonight for our picks competition. Northwestern is 3-9, takes on Wheeler that's 3-9, and it looks like whoever wins this game is probably the favorite to win it all because neither Logansport nor Argos on the other side is very good. So
I know that's something for Argos because Argos has had some good teams.
yeah, they're 3-9 as well, I believe, and not a very good resume. Greg says Northwestern by 10.
Northwestern by 10. Northwest, higher. I'll go higher.
All right, that's it. So let me review real fast. So let me review for everybody Friday's picks. Alexandria, I said Alexandria by 35 over Jacksonville. Michelle said it's going to be fewer than 35 points. I said Connorsville would beat Marion by more than 16, or by 16. Michelle said it would be more. Greg said Northside Homeschool would beat Tipton by 10. Michelle says it will be more. I said that University would beat Western by 16 points. Michelle said less. I said Union County by 9 points over Hamilton Heights. Michelle says more. I said Sheridan by 28 over Seeger. Michelle says more. I said Eastern Hancock by 31 over Tri Central. Michelle said more. I said Kokomo by 6 over Wayne. Michelle says more. I said Whiteland by 14 over Anderson. Michelle says more. And I said Northwestern by 10 over Wheeler. Michelle says more. And the big one, I said Yorktown. You said Triton Central. That will be worth almost all the rest of the games put together if for one of us. Thank you for all of the coaches for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm too tired to go through all of them. And thank you, Michelle, and thank you for listening. Good night, everybody. I just realized I said good night when you could be listening to this at any time of the day. Anyway, the Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.